Alright, let's try this. I'm going to be talking about every single game I've played pretty much. And that's a lot. So let's start it off in no particular order. I just made a list. So, numero 1, Ark Survival Evolved. You know, it was pretty shit when it first came out. It was like the worst optimized thing ever. It's still pretty poorly optimized, but it's fun. It's a nice dinosaur game if you like dinosaur games. Survival crafting. It's decent. You can make your own thing, edit the values of crap so you can do everything easier and all that. Which I do. Because default settings are pretty garbage. And then we got Assassin's Creed. I've only played 2. But from what I know, 2 and 4 are the best ones anyway. And even though I own, like, surprisingly, pretty much all of them, thanks to Xbox Live handing them out like freaking candy like every couple of months. I didn't really like Assassin's Creed 1 back when it first came out. I played it. I didn't really like it. I like Assassin's Creed 2 though. I do not like games that release yearly though, and are basically the same crap. Pokemon, what? But yeah, I'd say it's fun, but it's better if they just take their time with it. Don't try to release them constantly, you know. Alright, then we got Banjo-Kazooie. Oh boy. Alright, so Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie are great platformers. They are from the good old golden age of collectathon platformers. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts I own, but I have not actually played yet. And as far as I'm aware, it's apparently not that bad, but it is a garbage Banjo-Kazooie game, obviously. It's not even a platformer, it's vehicles. But what are you gonna do? Battlefield. Okay. Once again, not really much to talk about. I've only played Battlefield 3. Battlefield 4 is basically just a better version of 3. Apparently people don't really like Battlefield 1. And everybody says Bad Company is the best one. Battlefield's nice, I guess. I like the Rush game mode. Rush is pretty fun. I like Operation Metro. Operation Metro was great. Back when the Battlefield 3 beta was happening, it was just Operation Metro, so that made me hate the map, but for some reason every time I end up hating a map spectacularly, looking back, it ends up being one of my favorites. It's probably some sort of Stockholm Syndrome, who knows. And then similar to Battlefield, but not quite, Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront. Pretty good. Pretty good. It's kinda... definitely one of the best Star Wars games, hands down. Oh shit, I forgot about... Oh, whatever. Battlefront 2, everyone's favorite, really good. Honestly, I got a PSP just to play Star Wars Battlefront games, and they're pretty great. Galactic Conquest was fun. The AI is always just fun to slaughter. Pretty good game, you know. Bioshock. Bioshock, okay, Bioshock. Alright, so back when Bioshock 1 first came out, I did the beginning part. Then, okay, you gotta remember, Bioshock 1 came out in like 2006, which was 12 years ago. So I was like 8, maybe 9. And the beginning part with the splicer, when you're coming out of the bathysphere, scared the crap out of me, so I never played the game. I thought Bioshock was a horror game. Then many years later, I finally played it, and Bioshock 1 is awesome. Pretty good game. But Bioshock 2, in my opinion, is even better. You get to actually play as a Big Daddy, you get the freaking drill. I love the drill. I wish more games had a drill like that. Oh god, it's so fun using it too. I gotta say, Bioshock 2 is probably one of my favorite games ever. The core thing in that game is you have to protect like little sisters as they harvest things. So essentially, it's kind of like a tower defense. Not really though. It's like an escort mission. Not really though. I don't know. How do I explain it? It's like protecting an objective just from AI. Well, that's not what it's like. That's literally what it is. And you get like a bunch of trap stuff. You can set up traps with your plasmids, your weapons. Basically, you have to just try to find the best position. Well, you don't really find the best position to defend from, because the places where they harvest are set. So they basically set it up so you can defend from that area. And some of them can be really tough. Others are super duper easy. But just that little level of strategy, I think, adds a lot to the game. And definitely helps make it one of, well, my favorite Bioshock, and one of my favorite games. Infinite, looking back at Infinite, I liked it when it came out, but looking back, I really prefer the under the ocean part of Bioshock. Didn't really like it up in the sky. I felt the enemies were a lot less cool. They're all just pretty much generic humans, and even the handyman's pretty lame. And it's a pain in the butt to shoot him in the heart, which is basically the only way you could kill him realistically in a decent time. A lot of the plasmids, which they changed, what did they change the name to? Vigors? Yeah. A lot of the Vigors weren't really, they didn't really add any cool ones. The gunplay was better technically, but I still think it was better in Bioshock 2. It was nicer. I don't know. Infinite's not bad, it's just I didn't really like it. Alright, Borderlands, or as the kids call it, Meme Lands. Let's start off. Borderlands 1. Really good. I like it. Had some pretty good DLCs. Okay, maybe not. Zombie Island's kind of garbage. Mad Moxie's kind of garbage. Secret Armory was really good. Claptrap DLC's better than the other two. Not better than Secret Armory though. All the characters are good in their own right. Siren is a monster. Mordecai's a monster. Brick is also pretty good. Roland, I never liked Roland, but even he can be good. Borderlands 2 though. Oh boy, did I play a lot of Borderlands 2. I probably got like I've definitely got a couple hundred hours, at least. Maybe. Nah, not 1,000. Definitely a couple hundred though, maybe like 300, 400, 500 maybe. Somewhere in that range. I played a lot of Borderlands too. And in that game, They really screwed up a lot of things, though. The scaling is atrocious. Like, back in Borderlands 1, if you got, like, a combustible Hellfire at level 30, you could probably still use it when you're level 50. Hell, you could probably still use it at level 69, just because the burn damage scales with your level. And, well, does it? I don't remember. It'd still be pretty decent, though. Because, elemental damage, like, stacked on itself. So you could really just burn people to death and crap. You can't do that in Borderlands 2, though. Elemental damage is hot garbage. And the scaling, they added a bunch of zeros and many things, but I'll complain about that someday. Pre-sequel's like a middle ground between the two damages and crap. But, oh god, it's made in Australia. Everyone's Australian. And it's still got the meme tier dialogue, so I didn't really like it that much. But I do really like Borderlands 2 and 1. No, I'm not gonna talk Burnout. Burnout, what's there to talk about Burnout? Screw Burnout. Catherine's a pretty neat puzzle game. It's really hard to explain. You just kind of move blocks and climb a tower. But there's a lot of things you can do with the blocks, and there's a lot of things you can't do, so it's... I don't know. It's a neat puzzle game. You could probably get it on sale for like $3. I think that's what I did. Dark Souls. Of course, everybody knows what Dark Souls is. I started with Dark Souls 1. Back before... Were people... No, I don't think anyone was really talking about it back when I first played it. Or at least... nobody that I like actually knew in real life. So I played Dark Souls 1. And I didn't know where to go at the beginning. So I went into the graveyard and just kind of killed myself. That was fun. After a lot of trial and error, I finally figured out where I probably should be going. And, yeah. Dark Souls 1 is really good. I never played Demon Souls, but I do. Do I own it? Actually, I don't even think I own it. Dark Souls 2 has the best replayability out of all of them. Just because the New Game Plus is actually just more than increasing the difficulty. It adds like different enemies and items and crap. Dark Souls 2 is like everyone's least favorite, pretty much. It's the black sheep, the middle child. It was released at a time when like the 360 and the PS3 were finally dying. And it really should have just been a next-gen game, and you can really tell how held back it was by that. But that gave us the 60-frame re-releases on the next-gen consoles, so I appreciate that, at least. But I like Dark Souls 2, it's pretty good. Definitely has the best PvP. Dark Souls 3 is my least favorite. It's got the fastest combat, which is nice. And there's this one boss, Pontiff Sullivan. You could actually duck under his attacks by using the sit. So I like to just lay down when he does like one of his spammy slash attacks, and then right on the best possible frame to parry him, I just get up and do that, and that's always fun to do. I like doing that. But even though Dark Souls 3 isn't really that great, it's still good. That's what I like about Dark Souls. It's never bad, just less good. Bloodborne I own, but I haven't played. Alright, Dead Island. Dead Island, what is there to talk about Dead Island? Dead Island is zombie Borderlands with melee weapons. pretty much. Definitely flawed. Definitely way different than they wanted it to be. Dead Island 1 is I haven't played Riptide, but that's basically just a clone anyway with different areas. I love Sam B. And that stupid song, Who Do You Voodoo? I mean, yeah, it's basically just like Borderlands with zombies and melee weapons. It's got this analog fighting style. I never liked it, but it's cool that it has it. You could like use the sticks to control how you swing your weapon, and that's really neat. Like I said, I didn't like it, but it's neat to have that as an option. I wish more games would have crap like that. I don't know, the story's pretty basic. I liked it though. Not really any. Well, no, I gotta say it. The first time I played it, I thought there were a lot of less better areas. Okay, no. No, the jungle does suck. Okay, yeah, the jungle sucks. The jungle part sucks. But other than that, it's pretty good. When I replayed it, I found it to be better than when I played it the first time. And like I said, Riptide is like probably the same thing anyway, but I haven't played it, so who knows. Dead Island 2 also exists. It's not out. I think it's stuck in like limbo. But that might be a thing someday, so who knows. Dead Rising though. Okay, here we go. Gonna be a lot of things that start with dead. Hehe. Alright, Dead Rising 1 is one of my favorite games ever. Like, there's a video by that Crobe Cat guy. It's like Dead Rising 1 versus Dead Rising 4. Watch that video. Like, that explains everything I love about Dead Rising 1 and everything I hate about Dead Rising 4. I never played Dead Rising 4, but I just know I should hate it. Just looking at everything about it. Every single little thing about that game is disgusting to me. Dead Rising is one of the reasons I hate Canadians. And that's not a joke. I don't necessarily actually hate Canadians. Like, I'm not racist towards them or something. I don't have like a actual hatred towards them, but I do really dislike when they touch my games. And they do some questionable things. I hate Canadians, never mind, I hate them. Dead Rising 1 though, really good. I recommend Dead Rising 1 to everyone. And all those losers that say, oh, but the timer makes it hard. No, it doesn't, because the game is designed around the timer. So it's not making the game hard. What's making the game hard is you idiot. Dead Rising 2, this is where the Canadians jump in. But the Japanese were still like helping with the production of Dead Rising 2, so that's why it's still good. But it's basically kind of like the same thing as Dead Rising 1, only a little less good, and they added combo weapons. But Dead Rising 2 is still a good game. Dead Rising 3 though is where it all goes downhill, because now it's just the Canadians. It's not a bad game. In fact, it's kind of, well, no, it's decent. I'll call it decent. Combo weapons are way better, but like combo weapons are so necessary now that there's no reason to never use anything else. That's what I dislike about. I like combo weapons, but I dislike how they make regular weapons irrelevant. And the protagonist in Dead Rising 3 is also kind of garbage. But other than that, it was alright. Dead Rising 4 though, like I said before, awful trash. Oh, there's also Dead Rising Off the Record and those case games. I'm not going to talk about the case games, but Dead Rising Off the Record is basically just Dead Rising 2 with some additional content. They change some stuff and you play as Frank. It's good. It's basically just Dead Rising 2 with some additional content. Dead Space. I played Dead Space 1 for a bit. Uh, all I really remember is everybody said it was scary. I didn't really get scared by it though for whatever reason. Probably because I could just shoot anything that scared me. I'm the type of person that's a firm believer of if I can just shoot the scary away, it's not really that scary. And all I remember is because I never beat it, but I remember that stupid part where you have to shoot the meteorites, and that part made me want to gouge my eyes out because it was pretty awful. And then we got Deus Ex. I actually own the original Deus Ex, whatever. And I own Mankind Divided because it was free on PlayStation. And I haven't played either of them. Well, I tried to play the original, which a lot of people love that game, and I can understand why they love that game. It's really hard for me to play a game that's so, unless it's like a really good game. It's really hard for me to justify playing a game that looks so outdated and feels so outdated. I'm sorry, Deus Ex, I'm sure you're really good, but I can't do it. Human Revolution is the first one I played though, and that was really fun. Playing stealth in that game is awesome. Definitely the cool way to play. And Adam Jensen is a pretty neat guy. He never asked for anything. Diablo though. Diablo 3. Yeah, I've only played Diablo 3. But they're basically all the same thing anyway. Diablo 3 on release was atrocious. Now it's pretty good. I'm not really a big fan of those, I'm not sure what the genre is. Probably just like roguelite? No. Is it? I don't know. I'll just call it Diablo genre. Not really a big fan of it. But it's still a pretty good game. Dishonored. Look up those Dishonored montage videos if you want to know about that. You can do a lot of crap in Dishonored. It's pretty good. Once again, I own Dishonored 2 as well, but I haven't played it yet, so I don't know what to say about that. But Dishonored 1, pretty good. Dying Light, this is basically what Dead Island was supposed to be. It's basically Dead Island, only without classes, and you do parkour. And the story is slightly better. No, actually, I'd say the story is slightly worse. Just because of how stupid your character is at times. And he kind of feels like a... what's the word? Gary Stu. Yeah. I didn't play the DLC. But, that was fun. Nighttime is pretty terrifying. Apparently, you can just waltz right in and not even care about nighttime at some point, though. I'm probably at that point, but it still terrifies me, so I don't. Fallout. Okay, Fallout. Fallout 1 and 2. I have not... I tried to play Fallout 1. I don't really like it. I hate the gameplay. It's so slow. Fallout 3 was my first one, though. So that's part of the reason why it's hard to go back and play the classic ones. I gotta say, Fallout 3, Fallout 3 was my favorite back in the day. I thought that the DC ruins and crap was the best atmosphere, but I've come to realize that New Vegas is much better. And thinking back, Fallout 3 had so many problems, like the metro tunnels. Oh god, the metro tunnels. Awful, awful. I hate them. and just a lot of weird things. But it's still a good game. My computer can run Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas with mods, so if you have a half decent, if you have like a decent rig, try to play the Fallout games with mods. Bethesda games are just inherently 1,000 times better with mods. You can change it so much. New Vegas is great with mods. Even my crappy computer that can't get like all the good ones. Still great. Yeah, New Vegas is definitely the best one though. Has the best vanilla game, best DLCs. Fallout 4 is God, Fallout 4. Okay, so I actually can play Fallout 4 with mods, but only the console approved mods. So Bethesda basically regulates what I can and can't add to my game, which is disheartening, but at least I can mod it. So, you know, that's something. Fallout 4 with mods, once again, way better than base game Fallout 4. I loved Fallout 4 when it first came out, but the story is atrocious. For one. And it really does feel empty. There's barely any like unique quests. Like the few unique quests that there are good, but there's so few of them, and it's really disappointing because the world basically just feels empty. It's like big, but it's empty, and that is a big problema. Alright. Final Fantasy, okay. TBH, I've only finished Final Fantasy IV. I've played a little bit of 6, and when I say a little, I mean a little. I played like 3 hours worth of 3. I didn't really like 3, but maybe if I went back to it, I'd like it more. I mean, obviously I'm biased when I say Final Fantasy IV is my favorite because it's the only one I've actually finished. But I still think even when I finish other ones, it'll be my favorite. I've been playing Final Fantasy IX a bit. I haven't touched 8. I played like the first hour of Final Fantasy VII, but my save file got deleted, so it's hard to go back to that. I own Final Fantasy X and X-2 for the PS4. Final Fantasy XII will probably get it if it's on sale. Final Fantasy V and VI I also have. 1 and 2 I'll probably never play just because they seem pointless to me. What are the other ones? 13. Okay, I own 13 and 13-2 for the PlayStation 3, I think? Well, I know I own them for the PS3, but I'm not sure if I own 13-2. I definitely have 13, so I'll have to get to those eventually, too. Oh, and 15. Final Fantasy 15. I've actually been playing... I actually played quite a bit of 15. I think I have like 15 hours in Final Fantasy 15. I like it. I didn't play it when it came out, so they've added a lot of crap. They updated a lot of crap too. So it's clearly a much better game than it was when it like first came out. But now all it's said and done, I think Final Fantasy 15 is a good game. It certainly helps when you don't have abnormal expectations for a game. And yeah, that's all the ones I've played. Alright, Forza. Okay. My first Forza game was Forza Motorsport 3. And it's alright. But then I played Forza Horizon 3. And I like the Horizon games much, much more than the Motorsport games. Because in the Horizon games, it's like kind of open world. So you just kind of drive around and the tracks are like cities and crap instead of like just going in a circle like NASCAR. So the Forza Horizon games are pretty good. I don't really like the motorsport ones. And I like Forza because I could add shitty weeb decals to my cars. Alright, but here's a great one. Here's one that I'm probably gonna make a video about one day. Halo. Halo was one of my first games ever. Halo 1 was probably my first shooter. And which is funny because everybody calls it baby's first FPS. Halo 1 is great. Halo 2 is great. Halo 3 is great. Halo ODST is Halo Reach is good. Halo 4 is atrocious. Halo 5, the campaign is like Halo 4, where I think it's atrocious. I've never even finished Halo 5's campaign. The multiplayer is pretty good though, I like that. Then there's Halo Wars. Halo Wars is pretty good. I don't think I'd like Halo Wars 2 though. It looks a little too, I don't know, something about it just looks off, and I don't think I'd like it. But God, back in the day, like Halo 3 came out 11 years ago. Holy God. Okay, yeah, back in the day with Halo 3, custom games, man, like Jenga and all, Duck Hunt. Oh man, those are the days. I used to play with like this group of like maybe late teen. Some of them were like grown ass men. And this was back when I was like 10. So I'd never talk on the mic, just so they wouldn't like ridicule me for being a squeaker. Eventually, I accidentally unmuted my mic and talked, and they didn't care, so I was like, whatever. I still didn't really talk. I don't really talk online much. Or ever. But, yeah, it still brings me back. God, those were the days, though. Okay, Lego games. Lego games are way better than they should be. And they're basically all the same, so if you've played one Lego game, you've played them all. But that doesn't mean they're bad. The complete Lego Star Wars game, that's probably the best one, and it's really fun. They're basically just fan servicey, collectathon games. Pretty good. Mass Effect. Okay, Mass Effect. This is gonna be a Mass Effect 3 is gonna get its own video someday too. But Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1. I hate the combat. The story's good. Little elevator talks are great. But God, the combat is so bad. But hey, that's where it started. So, whatever. I mean, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but compared to the other games, it's pretty bad. Mass Effect 2 is my favorite one. Like, based on, like, story. And I don't mean, like, the storyline, I mean as in, like, the main campaign. Because Mass Effect 3 has a multiplayer mode, and that's my favorite. But Mass Effect 2, single player, is my favorite of the single players. Because, God, just playing on Insanity mode was great. That felt like one of the best, hardest difficulties I've played. It actually felt balanced. It wasn't stupidly difficult. It wasn't, like, easy either. It was like an actually good difficulty. And the collectors were awesome to fight. Harbinger used to just spam lines. It was great. Mass Effect 3, though, I'm sure everyone's heard of the ending and the controversy and how it was awful. But the multiplayer, oh man, the multiplayer. I think I have like 500, 600 hours in the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. My favorite multiplayer game ever. Like, hands down, straight up. I can say that without a doubt. Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was my jam. You had so many different classes. Like, I'll say this. When Mass Effect 3 multiplayer first came out, I honestly didn't really like it that much, but around like the second DLC, I started playing that crap a lot. And I loved it. Hell, I still don't have all the weapons in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer because of the stupid RNG loot boxes, which I hate. But they're there, and I can't change that. Even with that, though, it's still my favorite multiplayer game ever. Oh, and I almost forgot about it because I hate it so much. Mass Effect Andromeda is garbage. It is awful. It's just awful. I can't really. I can go into detail, but I won't. I'll just say it's awful. Grand Theft Auto, I played 4, and San Andreas a bit. It's alright. Minecraft. Building bricks with Minecraft? I actually knew about Minecraft like way back in the day, probably back when it was still an alpha. Like, I think I knew about it a little bit after they released Survival. I don't remember if they released Survival in alpha, but it definitely was survival mode when I first saw Minecraft. And Minecraft is great. There's a reason why it's popular, and that's because it's a pretty good game. Nowadays, though, the updates are incredibly slow, and they don't really add much good stuff. But Minecraft with mods is pretty awesome. Just like Bethesda games, mods can really fix a lot of the things that are missing. Unfortunately, I can't really run the good ones, so that's sad. And I mostly just play on console anyway. Alright, Okami. Okami is kinda like a Zelda game, but it's not a Zelda game, obviously. You play as a wolf named Amaterasu, god of the sun, whatever, god of the gods, Japanese. It's a Japanese game. You use magic paintbrush to learn a variety of skills and use them. Kinda like how Zelda gives you items and crap for dungeons. Instead you get like the ability to paint a circle with a line through it, and that makes a bomb and you can blow a hole in a wall or something. Okami's a really good game. Really, really good. Definitely recommend it. Outlast. I don't care about that. Okay. Wow, this list is a lot longer than I thought it was. Red Dead. I played Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is really good. DLCs are pretty good. The multiplayer was pretty good. Well, the free roam at least. Never didn't really like the PvP. Anything else? Anything else? You eat babies. Resident Evil. Okay, here we go. Here's another long one. Alright, so I own Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, but I haven't played them yet. I played the Resident Evil 1 remake, which is like everyone's favorite. But I'm really bad at that game, so I have not finished it. I'm like, it's sad how bad I am at Resident Evil. Resident Evil 4 is also one of my favorite games ever, and it is really good. Definitely my favorite. I'm not saying the older ones are bad. I actually like the older ones, but Resident Evil 4 is still my favorite. Just, it's so cheesy. I don't know. Resident Evil 5 is the start of the downfall. It's still decent, but I don't really like it that much. Wesker's got a lot of great meme lines. I like that. Resident Evil 6, I played one campaign, it was awful. I wanted to die. That game makes me want to kill myself. Resident Evil 7, I haven't played. Resident Evil 0, I haven't played. Or any of the other spin-offs or Revelations or any of that. Elder Scrolls. Okay, so I actually did play Oblivion on 360. I don't even own Oblivion on PC, but I have played Oblivion. I actually played it way back in the day, like, I want to say maybe like 2008, probably. I like Oblivion. There's a lot of iffy things, like the models look pretty awful. The generic lines are pretty awful too, but it's part of the charm at this point. Music's really good. Even the world looks pretty decent still, considering the game came out like 12 years ago. Definitely held up a lot better than Morrowind did, that's for sure, but Morrowind also came out on a past generation console, so yeah. I can't even go back and play Morrowind, it feels so outdated. Like in Morrowind, your attacks can miss. And I modded that out real quick, but even with that, the game it's just like Deus Ex, like the first one. I just can't play outdated looking 3D games unless they're really good. And that saddens me. And Skyrim is fantastic with mods, and pretty good without them. As much as people hate that it's been re-released like 20 times, there's a reason why it has, because it still sells. And it's still good. League of Legends and Smite, my two MOBAs I've played. I started League of Legends, what season is it now? Season 8, I think. So back at like the tail end of Season 2, so like I started League of Legends in like December of 2012. So basically I started in Season 3. And the game's changed a lot. Definitely. I'd say a lot of things for the better and a lot of things for the worse. They changed the game a lot just to keep it fresh. Whereas it's basically the opposite with Smite, where I think the game just progressively gets worse. Because if you've never heard of them, Hi-Rez is the dev of that game. And they're pretty atrocious. Probably one of the worst devs of all time. They've ruined many games. Somehow they haven't ruined Smite. And dear God, do they love money. They've literally ruined like 5 games because they love money so much. But I gotta say, I still have fond memories of League of Legends. But it's really hard for me to go back and play it unless I'm playing with like friends or something. But I can still watch it, which is weird. I don't know. Hell, I still watch freaking Worlds when that happens. Sometimes I'll watch like the bigger matches, like the finals of NA or something. Or I'll just watch a casual match now and then when I can't find anything else to do. Alright, Sonic. God, Sonic. Sonic was never good. Sonic Adventure 2 is the only good game, the end. Stardew Valley / Harvest Moon. Pretty good, I guess. I'll recommend them. Stardew Valley's superior to Harvest Moon. But Harvest Moon, like some of the better, like the good Harvest Moon games, they definitely have their charm still. I don't care about that enough to talk about it. Telltale garbage. Okay. I've played The Walking Dead. Season 1 was really good. And I say play very loosely because they're basically just visual novels. Season 2 was alright. I haven't played the shitty Season 3, but everyone says it's pretty eh. Looks like Telltale stuff's finally dying anyway. And Wolf Among Us was good. I'd love a Season 2 for that. And by love, I mean I'll get it for free eventually one day if they make it. Because that's how I've played them all. Xbox giving them away for free. They're not... Well, some of them are bad, but they're not inherently, like, evil or anything, but... God, am I so glad they're done making Telltale garbage. It was so annoying just seeing them pump it out. And the engine is so bad and outdated. It's like a freaking... It's like the Bethesda engine that's been in use since, like, 2002. They just keep slightly remodeling it. And the engine's essentially the same. So it's still just garbage. They're just making it look less garbage with paint and crap. Oh my god, this is never gonna end. Okay, Terraria. Terraria is kind of like 2D Minecraft, only it's not at all. It's like a roguelike game. This is definitely a roguelike game, I know it is. You fight a bunch of bosses, you build your home. It's kind of like an RPG, and it is an RPG. I like Terraria. Terraria is fun. Bosses are always cool to fight. XCOM's good. Strategy game. It's even got its own Iron Man mode like setting. I only played Enemy Unknown or Enemy Within, and haven't tried XCOM 2 yet. And I have no idea what the older ones are like, but I like Enemy Within, even though I haven't actually played it that much. Crackdown is fun. Crackdown 1. Actually, I don't think I played Crackdown 1. But I like Crackdown 2, even though people say it's worse. Crackdown 3 never ever, by the way. Destiny 2 is garbage. Destiny 1 was garbage, but Destiny 1 got really good with the Taken King. So I played it a lot when that came out. I have fond memories of the Taken King raid, that's about it. I really like the raids, but now that I think about it, you have to commit a lot of time to do that crap. And there's not even a looking for group within the game. You have to go on forums and Reddit and crap just to find teammates. And that's stupid. Alright, Gears of War. Okay, Gears of War is my favorite third-person shooter, without a doubt. And even though it's basically just tough, dude, it's like the epitome of Xbox exclusive. Big, muscular, shooty guy with tons of blood and gore. But even so, it's great. Gears of War 1, I played that on Insane by myself like a couple months ago. That was a hell of a challenge, and I loved it. Gears of War 2, I have fond memories of the Horde mode. Horde mode in Gears 2, trying to actually get to like wave 50 and all that crap was really fun. Had one of the best DLC practices ever. Once all the, like, okay, well, unless you actually bought them when they came out, but once the DLCs were like all out, they released a pack for like $10, which was all of the DLC, like just all of it for $10. That was awesome. Gears 3. I don't really remember Gears 3 much, but it's got advanced horde mode. I think it's stupid. Logically, it should be better, and it probably is technically better, but I kind of like the basic set up riot shields and find a place to camp yourself from Gears 2, rather than to set up a command post and actually build defenses in Gears 3. I don't hate it, but I just preferred Gears 2 more. and I hadn't really played Judgment or 4 enough to warrant talking about them. In fact, I haven't played 4 at all. Metal Gear. Eh. Saints Row. Saints Row 2 is my favorite Grand Theft Auto game of all time. Saints Row 1 is like a inferior version of Saints Row 2. Saints Row 2 is awesome. Play Saints Row 2. Saints Row 3 is decent. Saints Row 4 is not even Saints Row anymore. Even Saints Row 3 is barely Saints Row anymore. But Saints Row 2 is Kino. Saints Row 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Alright, here we go. Here's a big one. Mario. Just Mario. That's all it says. So let's see. Out of all the platform Marios, I've played the original, obviously. Super Mario World, I think. Super Mario Brothers 3. I played a little bit of Super Mario Brothers 2. New Super Mario Brothers. The one on the DS. Super Mario 3D Land, I think. I don't know, whichever one was on the 3DS. That one was stupid easy. I didn't really like that one. But the best ones are the 3D platformers. So like 64. 64 is great. Sunshine is great. Galaxy I actually didn't play. Odyssey. Odyssey's pretty good from what I've played so far. Then you've got like all the sports spin-offs. Mario Kart's good. Mario Tennis was pretty good. Mario Strikers was awesome. Even Mario Baseball's pretty decent. Oh, Luigi's Mansion too. Luigi's Mansion is great. Don't really like the sequel that much. Oh, Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Superstar Saga is good. It's great, actually. Partners in Time is good. Bowser's Inside Story is the best one. And those are the only ones I've played. Apparently Dream Team's pretty good too. Paper Jam's pretty good. And whichever one is in between those two is eh. If there even is one, I don't remember. Paper Mario. Paper Mario 1 is good. Thousand Year Door is my favorite one. One of the best games ever, once again. Super Paper Mario is pretty good. Sticker Star is actually garbage. Color Splash, I have no idea. I haven't played it. And then there's the Super Mario RPG. I've actually played it. And it's pretty good too. Mario's got a lot of RPGs, Jesus Christ. I don't know, that's all the games I can think of, thank God. Alright, here's another one though, Zelda. So let's see, I've played Oracle of Seasons, that was good. Link to the Past is great. Link Between Worlds was pretty good too. Ocarina of Time is fantastic. Majora's Mask is fantastic. It's actually, like, people say they're overrated, but it's amazing how well those games have held up. Twilight Princess is pretty good. What's the other one? I own Breath of the Wild, but I haven't tried it yet. Is that really all the Zelda games I've played? Huh. Wow, yeah. I haven't even played Wind Waker, so... Neptunia, I already made a whole thing about that. Xenoblade, I've only played Xenoblade 2, so, and I got a whole thing about that. Time Splitters, I've played Time Splitters 2. Time Splitters 2 is great. One of the best arcadey shooters ever, probably. It's got a crap ton of characters. The controls are a little janky though, if you're used to like modern shooters, which is disappointing. Toe Jam and Earl, pretty good. Okay, here's another big one, Call of Duty. Okay, so I started Call of Duty with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I've played none of the ones before that. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was basically a mess of a game, where everything was busted. Black Ops was pretty good. Modern Warfare 3 was alright. Then I started to realize, wait, these games are all the same. And the DLC is super expensive, so maybe I should just not play these games. So I missed Black Ops 2, which was apparently like the best one. Then I tried Call of Duty again with Advanced Warfare. That was a mistake. And that's all the Call of Duty games I've actually played. Huh. Oh, and Modern Warfare 3 had this survival mode, which was pretty fun. And Nazi Zombies is decent too, of course. Alright, Fable. Fable Lost Chapters is awesome. Fable 2 is pretty good. Fable 3 is pretty garbage. Far Cry. Far Cry 2 I've played, but I don't really remember. Far Cry 3 was pretty good. Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 1. The entirety of it is within Left 4 Dead 2, so just play that instead. Left 4 Dead 2 is pretty fun with mods and crap, and my crappy computer can even run it. So, you know, it's fun to have the tank be Shrek and it plays All-Star. Smash. Okay, so I did play the original Smash for N64. Don't really like it. It's got some cool maps though, or levels or whatever, stages. That's the word. Melee. I played a lot of Melee. Melee's probably my second favorite. Brawl. Brawl was pretty good too. Smash 4 is my favorite. But I only, I've played the Wii U version, but obviously I don't own it. I've only played this. I own the 3DS version, and even then it's still pretty good. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is really fun. I've got the original on the GameCube. I've got Wild World. I've got City Folk. I've got all of them. Okay. The original, still good. Wild World is hard to go back to, but it's amazing that it was as good as it was, considering it was on the old, like the original DS. City Folk. It's pretty eh. New Leaf is pretty good though. I'd love a new one on the Switch. Portal. Portal's good. Jet Set Radio Future is good. Mercenaries is good. Bam Ham Arkham games are pretty good. Pikmin 2 is one of my favorites of all time, and that's actually the only Pikmin game I've played. I've played Pikmin 1, but I never beat it. I hope Pikmin 4 has dungeons again, those were fun. Pokemon, literally just made a video about it. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is a collectathon game that's surprisingly good. Fire Emblem, that'll get its own video eventually to summarize it. I like Fire Emblem. Persona. I've only played 3, 4, and 5, and once again, that'll get its own video eventually, and sum it up, I like Persona. Advance Wars, okay, I've played Advance Wars 2, Advance Wars Dual Strike, Advance Wars Day of Ruin. And Advance Wars 2 is probably the best one objectively. Dual Strike's pretty good, and Days of Ruin is what killed the franchise, unfortunately, but it's still pretty good. Kirby, I've played Superstar Ultra and Nightmare from Dreamland. those are both pretty good. Oh, and I've played the original. The originals, it sucks. You can't even copy abilities. Dragon Quest. Okay, here we go. This is an interesting one. Okay, so Dragon Quest Rocket Slime. You play as the slime from Dragon Quest, and you fight monsters with a tank. And there's an overworld. You capture monsters. You can like recruit them. You and your teammates like just shoot crap out of the tank. You get items to shoot from your tank. It's like an adventure game with tanks, and it's really fun. I've also played Dragon Quest IV. That was pretty good. And Dragon Quest Joker, which is like you capture monsters and you battle them. It's kind of like Pokemon. Danganronpa. Good. V3 is the best one. Entry and Odyssey, pretty good. Shin Megami Tensei, pretty good. Rants. I've talked about Sengoku Rants. I really like it. I've also been playing Rants 6. Rants 6 is pretty good too. I can't wait to play 8, 9, and 10 whenever those actually get translated. Ace Attorney's really good. Binding of Isaac is pretty good. TF2 is pretty good. Epic Battle Fantasy is the second best Flash game ever. Well, 3 and 4 are. Ignore 1 and 2. It's basically like a Flash game homage to Final Fantasy. Pretty good. Got a lot of content for a Flash game. Looks really nice for a Flash game. But best Flash game ever is, like, I can't say it. I don't personally like it, but best Flash game ever is definitely Super Smash Flash 2, which is finally out, I think, after being in development for like 10 years. Rabby Ribby, Metroidvania, art style makes a lot of people hate it, but it's a really good game. Civ 5, really fun with mods. Honestly, the only reason I can even play Civ 5 is because of stupid mods that add stupid characters, and it's really fun because of that to me. Digimon games, I played a couple. Yeah, whatever. Dragon Ball games, oh boy, I've only played the Legacy of Goku games, and those were really good. But Budokai's got a lot of characters. Budokai Tenkaichi 3, everybody likes that one, so yeah. Wario Land 4, Wario Land 4 is, I think that's the last one they made. Wario Land 4 is really good. I wish they'd make a new one. Any, like, actually new Wario game would be appreciated, Nintendo, thank you. And, thank God, that's the end of this really long list that I just started to rush through at the end because I'm sick of talking. Dear God. I probably didn't do a lot of things justice, so who cares? Whatever.